My name is Colette Rudolph, and my business is End of Life Doula. An End of Life Doula is somebody who journeys with someone who is dying, and you're there to help the family and the patient and or client, I should say, just to lessen the fear around death and dying, and to make them more comfortable, to help them realize their legacy and the purpose and meaning of their life. And it's really also about just guiding them along that process so they aren't so fearful and so scared. I am a hospice nurse, and I have been for about 28 years. And in my hospice work, I've always done a lot of education in terms of educating myself and the public and my staff about end-of-life care. It seems to me that as the years went on, there was just something missing. And as I was doing the nursing aspect of hospice care, I ran into this concept of end-of-life doula. And some people call it death doula too, but I prefer end-of-life doula. But in any case, it really was about the non-medical aspect of death and dying. And I realized when I found out what an end-of-life doula does, that this was the missing piece. And so it really is about trying to help people who are feeling afraid and unprepared. It's about exploring the meaning and the legacy of their life. Also just trying to diminish their suffering around the anticipated death. And an end-of-life doula differs in terms of a nurse, where the nurse is more focused on the aspect of medical care. And it's all about symptom management and pain management, which is desperately needed at that time. The end-of-life doula spends more time on focusing on the emotional and spiritual aspects of this journey. And that's why I chose to do that. Well, as an acute care nurse in my young nursing career, I found, it was challenging and it was exciting, but there came to a point where I realized something was missing. It seemed like when people were reaching that point where, they were looking at the end of their life, it seemed like the medical culture was so much into what's new, how much more can we extend somebody's life, instead of looking at the quality of that life that is being extended. So a lot of times people were in the hospital most of the time during those months where they could have been at home, comfortable, surrounded by their family, sharing a lot of laughter and tears, sharing stories and memories, and not enjoying that aspect of that time in their life. And I just really feel that things have changed a lot since then. But it's still hard in some respects for medical professionals to know when it's time to talk about end of life. A lot of times what I do is an interview with the patient and their family, those who are going to be involved in the caregiving. I talk with the patient about what they would like to see these last days and months and weeks to be. We do a life review and legacy project. We just do a lot of sharing stories about their life, going back, way back to their childhood, sharing memories of their childhood all the way up to the present time, and just talk about, maybe regrets, maybe guilt, maybe just those moments that impassioned them to strive to be where they are today. We talk a lot about what was important, what defined them as they are right now, or defined them as they are. We talk about all kinds of things. And through that, I can draw out the strengths and their passions and what they lived life for. It's a reminder to them that they are leaving behind a legacy, that they are leaving behind a piece of them in this world. And that's what a legacy project is about, is taking those passions and taking those strengths and developing a legacy where, maybe they can leave a piece of something with their family that their family can remember them by. Something that will inspire their family for future generations. And so that is part of what I do. The other part is just explaining the dying process, eliminating some of the fear. I also can provide a little bit of respite to help the caregivers who are exhausted. We also talk about those days. What do they envision those days to look like when they are drawing to the end of their life? And what they want to do to create an environment that will support them and support their family. And that can be almost anything. It could be in music that you enjoy. It could be pictures. It could be building an altar around you. It could be about how you want to be handled and touched, and how you want to be spoken to during those last days. And again, it's not just for the person who's dying, but it also is for the family. Something for the family to remember. It also, by doing that, you do decrease complicated grief for your family in the long run. So there's a lot of things we can do. And again, it's all about that social, that emotional, and that spiritual aspect that I think can be more intensely addressed through my role. Just listening to the stories that people tell, it defines who they are and who I'm seeing right now. It's something that I missed as working as a hospice nurse, because we only get to see those last days and weeks, maybe months of their life. You don't get to hear the rest of the story. So I really enjoy that aspect. They can get a hold of me. They can go to my Facebook page. It is Bismarck End of Life Doula. And they can reach me by phone. It's 701-425-3217.